People who have signed NDAs that have now expired or for whatever reason are no longer valid. What couldn't you tell us but now can? I signed an NDA to waitress at a local family-owned restaurant. The owner was nuts, definitely had a severe personality disorder, and was worried about his recipes getting leaked. The restaurant is dead now and his secret recipes consisted almost solely of frozen packaged food. I signed an agreement at my last job that I'd never sue them over anything ever. In exchange I was allowed to get yearly raises. After I left that job I joined a class action suing them for making me sign that and holding raises hostage. Made quite a bit from that. So in addition to all those yearly raises, you got an additional bonus? Yup. It was pretty awesome. I got a letter in the mail that said our records indicate you worked at Forex during these times. Did you sign the arbitration agreement? I signed the letter, mailed it back in the postage-paid envelope and made close to $10,000 a few months later. Apple 100% replaced the iPhone 4 for users because of a shitty antenna. We were instructed to dodge, deflect, and deny this was the issue. Cell phone providers were shit, the phone was a fluke, it didn't matter. Don't admit fault. But if they were there for reception, versus water damage, buttons or battery life, you had to make sure you were swapping them with the newer batch iPhone 4 swaps rather than the typical batch swaps. It was a recall without being a recall. But only if you had reception issues. Son of a bitch, I knew it. I signed an NDA once when I was an extra on Mortal Engines. If you watch the movie, you'll learn more than I did on set. I watched the movie. Understood nothing. So. That's right kids, I was told to push buttons and pretend to die. As a person who watched that movie, I'm kinda jealous of the button pushing. You can keep the whole pretending to die bit though. Recycling company would throw away a lot of stuff. They collected the money from government subsidies, while leaving the employees to a shit salary in a hazardous workplace. R/OSHA would have freaked out. That included having dirty syringes, thank God I didn't get stabbed by one, where people would sort the materials. It was awful. That's illegal and should have been reported to multiple government agencies for defrauding the government, hazardous work conditions, and maybe breaking waste laws. I worked for a native casino. The golf courses lost a ton of money for us, as did the advertising for the courses. Food we generally broke even on because of all the comps. If a crime was committed by a dealer, they would watch the dealer for 3 months to see if there were accomplices. They used facial recognition and would pair match you so if the same person sat with the same dealer over and over, they would know. This way they could look for accomplices. Then when they busted you, they would sit you down and make you watch a video of you breaking the law. They did this because they wanted you to plead guilty as opposed to an expensive trial. Anyone in the golf industry could tell you the first part is absolutely true even though the golf course increases the value of everything else nearby. Such a weird duality. I work at a company that does work for golf courses and other companies. The bill usually is $150, $1,000. 9 times out of 10, I have to hound the golf courses to pay. 19 times out of 20, all the other clients pay at least within 60 days. Worked at a matchmaking company. It's all bullshit, it's just throwing darts at a wall until something sticks. There's no science or magic to it all. I thought you meant a company that makes literal matches and was confused, figured that recipe would have been locked down long ago. I just picture a factory where a bunch of dudes are coming up with new, creative ways to burn themselves lol. I was an intern at Wells Fargo and we were grouped with other interns across the US and given a project to work on aside from our normal intern responsibilities. My group was tasked to look at their current incentive program and the one they were moving to and then come up with various ways they could be improved. 2 weeks before our presentation someone way above each of our managers had us shred all our work and sign NDAs. A couple years later the story broke about their incentive programs where employees were opening up fraudulent accounts for customers in order to gain more incentive rewards. Yeah. This is actually really interesting. I'm just now listening to the Wells Fargo episode of The Dollop and it's been pretty surprising how blatant this shit was. I was an employee at Wells Fargo during that time. I opened so many accounts for my wife, mom, aunts, cousins, friends, you name it. We lived under constant pressure to inflate the numbers. This was a normal practice among every employee. I was there for 2 years and this was our status quo the whole time I was there. I made sure I closed the accounts before moving into the next one. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese are coming out with a more modern and upscale version to expand their market from lower-income folks to higher-income folks. It is almost entirely the same product as the 69-cent blue box, but will have a lighter, less orangey color. They will be sold as shells and not macaroni. The box will be shaped differently, and it will go for $2.50 or more. Stated to be released by 1995. Maybe I'm lower class. But I like it when it's more orange. I'm eating pasta and cheese from a box. I know I'm lower class. It's in a box? Doesn't it get soggy? You ever make mac and cheese before? It's not real cheese. It's all powder, water or milk makes it the consistency people like. Unless you buy Velveeta. Their cheese isn't powder but it's more like a nacho cheese packet you pour into your mac. I want mac and cheese now. Oh wow, here in UK mac and cheese comes ready-made in plastic containers or you make it yourself. Never heard of it in a box, feel like I'm missing out. Posted this before, if it sounds familiar. Not me, but a guy I know was on Cash Cab. A lot of it was faked. He was told he would be on a travel food show and would get picked up by a fake taxi at a certain location at a certain time. There were camera crews all over outside the taxi and there's no way on earth you might mistake it for a real cab. I always assumed that the contestants knew they were going to be on Cash Cab and their surprised reactions were all faked. If this is true, it's actually a pleasant surprise. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video.